Hello everyone, and this video I'm going to talking about also the Newton's second law. Okay, Newton's second application of Newton's second law, and there's many application of Newton's second law. So I just picked a topic I think is really important. And this video we are going to talk about the force of friction, and because friction is a everyday phenomenon. Okay, and I believe you all learn this in your high school. Okay, so you all know there's two kind of friction. One is called static friction. The other is so-called kinetic friction. Okay, so when you lay the object on the surface or the heavy table on the surface and you're trying to push them, and at the very beginning you feel you feel a strong resistance. Okay, but after you if you keep pushing it, and after you force over a certain amount, and your object start to move or table start to move, you will feel less resistance. Okay, okay, so that's you can that's an everyday example, everyday example. So there's two kind of friction. Okay, you will feel it that every day. There are two kinds of friction: static friction and kinetic friction. And static friction is higher than kinetic friction. Okay, okay. So before the object start to move, when it at rest, okay, it's a it's a static friction. Okay, okay. And so here's the graph to show the kinetic friction and static friction. So this is just what I say. So at the beginning, we'll start to pushing the object on the surface. If you keep adding the force, adding the force, and there's a maximum here. So okay, so this makes this maximum after you overcome this maximum, and the object start to move. Okay, you feel a less resistance. Okay, and less resistance. So the highest point here is so-called the static friction. Okay, and the coefficient, and here he said the static coefficient is equal to nu s times m. N is normal force. Okay, N is normal force. Like I said before, so if you have everything, not everything. If you put some object on the surface, you always feel a normal force. Okay, you will always feel a normal force. And normal force always perpendicular surface. Okay, because if there is no normal force, if there is normal force push up to the object, your object will sink. You sink into the surface. So you will put something on the surface always at normal force. And normal force is always perpendicular to the surface. That's why it's called normal force. Normal force. Normal means perpendicular. In certain area, normal means perpendicular. Okay, so this n, but here n is used under small n, not the capital N, but doesn't matter. So I should say it's mu s n. So it is mu k n. Okay, so friction force is normally proportional to normally proportional to the normal force. Okay, and the ratio is so-called friction coefficient. So we have two coefficients: static friction coefficient and kinematics. Oh no, so not kinematic, kinetic friction coefficient. Okay. So okay, that's a very basic introduction for the friction. Okay. Okay. So and friction is very important. So and in the friction not only create a resistance. Okay, sometimes friction also can help you to move. Okay, for example, if you're tired or you are walking on the surface, if there is no friction, if there is no friction, like this. Okay, Okay, if there is no friction, you never walk. Okay, you can walk because of friction. Okay, you can walk because of friction. Okay, your leg your shoes your shoes your shoes has friction when you walk on the surface. When you walk on the surface, your shoes has the friction between your shoes and the surface. Okay, and the reaction of the friction force can let you propel to go to forward. Okay, so that's very that's a very interesting phenomenon. Okay, yeah, friction cause some resistance, but the reaction of resistance make can allows you push forward. Okay, that's a very interesting phenomenon. Okay, so friction some is not always bad. Okay, it sounds like friction always cause the loss of energy and cause some resistance, but if you want to walk, if you are doing the walk, you need a friction, and also your tire. If your tire, there's no friction between your tire and surface, your tire never never moves. Okay, and also for the tires, and that is also interesting. That is also interesting phenomenon. It's called lock up. Okay, lock up means sometimes when you're trying to brake, um, sometimes you try to brake the car, you hit the brake very hard, and then your tires stop rolling, and keep doing the sliding to on the surface. Okay, when this situation happen, your tire has very low friction to the surface. That's why it slides. Okay, that's why this graphic kinetic friction is less than static friction. So once your tire slide on the surface, that means it only has the kinetic friction to the surface, and the kinetic friction is lower than static friction. So so it cannot let you when this situation happens, your car is just keep doing sliding, and you cannot control your car. You cannot control your car. Okay, no matter how hard you turn in the steering wheel, the car never make a response. Why? Okay, because in the previous lecture I say, when you try to make a turn in your car, try to make your car turning, you need the called centripetal force. Okay, and in the car who provide the centripetal force, actually it's friction provide the centripetal force. Okay, and especially it's static friction provide a centripetal force, which allow your car turning. So now if your car, your tire is sliding on the surface, so that means the kinetic friction is much lower than static friction. So the kinetic friction is low. The amount of kinetic friction is low, so it cannot provide enough centripetal force to let your car turn. Okay, so that's why when you lock up, no matter how to turn the steering wheel, the car will never respond. Okay, because of the kinetic friction did not provide another centripetal force to allow your car turning. So what only you do, all you only can do is pray. Okay, hope the tire start rolling again. Okay, because once your tires start rolling again, the static friction will come back. Okay, once your car start rolling again, your static friction will come back. And in the static friction, it has a larger amount of force, so it can provide enough force to allow your car turning, so you can get back control your car. Okay, so friction, the friction is very important in the car driving. Okay, so yeah, so how to explain this? Okay, so mhm, yeah, this graph is, yeah, this is just concept of static friction and kinetic friction. So yeah, static friction is the objects stay at rest. That's static friction. So if objects start moving, that's kinetic friction. Okay, and there are some examples on the friction problem in textbook, and I will try to mm, yeah, maybe I will show them in the next video. And this video, what else? So there's a very interesting clip. Okay, you see this clip introduces the so-called ABS system. So what's what the ABS system is prevent your car from what I call lock up. So it's prevent your tire sliding on the surface. Okay, so its function is when you're hitting the brake, it doesn't claim the brake disc very hard. It will doing like this motion. Okay, it will doing like this motion. By doing this motion, it will keep your tire rolling. Okay, so if it keep your tire rolling, that makes your car has always have static friction. Okay, so like I said, if you have static friction, you have large force. You have large force. This for static friction is a larger force than kinetic friction, and it can provide a force it can provide a centripetal force. It can allow your car turning, so you can control your car. Okay, so that's the principle behind the ABS system. It just keep your car always have static friction. And then this is a very interesting clip, and he compared the braking distance with and without the ABS system. Okay, it's very interesting clip. You can go to see yourself. And if you love doing the drifting, you love doing drifting. The drifting, your rear tire is using the kinetic friction, because if you do a drifting, the rear of your car is sliding, so it's kinetic friction. And at the same time, your front tire is using the static friction. So when you do the drifting, your front tire is looks like stay over there. Okay, you need the static friction to stay there, and then allow your rear tire sliding. So your front tire must be a static friction, not the kinetic friction. If all your four tires are all kinetic friction, you cannot control your car. So that's why. Okay, so when you're drifting, actually, all you still can control your front tires. Okay, because your front tire also subject to static friction. Okay, and also there's also very interesting video, and this video is he's talking about why the best racing line is not sure. What's the best racing car business? Why the best racing line is not a shortest line? Yeah, it's related to the corner speed and friction. Okay, you have to consider the corner speed and friction when you go into the corner, go through the corner. So it's a very interesting video. You can watch that, and you can view and understand the racing car is really a science. Yeah, racing car is really a science. Also, what's the else about the friction? Also about friction. Okay, so I'll stop the friction here, and next video I'll show you a very simple example on the friction. Okay, maybe example 5.8. Maybe I just show the example 5.8. 5.9 is, yeah. If I have enough time, I'll do a demonstration as well. So okay, I'll start a video here. Okay, see you in next video. Bye bye.